I was at the beach yesterday with one of my close friends and we challenged each other to cold approach as many chicks as we could during the day. And I'm not gonna lie, cold approaching for me was something which I used to never do. I don't think I cold approached a girl ever from the ages of like, let's say 16 to at least probably 21, bro. It was something which I thought was always like mission impossible. It was something which I thought was abnormal. But when I became closer with this current friend, I'd see his confidence and he's a lot more like extroverted than what I am. I'm a lot more like introverted and reserved. But I'd see him just go up to girls with like zero hesitation and be like super playful, super fun, emotional with them. He'd get like pretty good results. And this would inspire me to take action. If there's something about me, I've always been like a super disciplined action taker. Like I like to take action on something and keep getting the reps in. Like with gym, I understand going to the gym helps me build muscle, which will get me the physique. So I'm just going to keep taking action and keep going gym. Now with YouTube, I understand if I keep posting YouTube videos, keep growing my personal brand, the financial income it'll probably start to come in like location freedom, all that shit. So I'll keep taking action on YouTube videos. But then I ask myself the question, like, what if I start taking action on relentlessly cold approaching girls? You'd think my skill, my trait of talking to the opposite sex would start to like become better. Because if there was something wrong with younger Adrian or something which I used to struggle with, it was the fact that I could speak to girls, but I couldn't necessarily flirt with them or create like an emotional connection with them. I used to always, I guess a bad trait I have is always just being super logical. So when you talk to girls, you can't switch your brain to your emotional side. You're being logical to the girls, and this just, quite frankly, this turns them like the fuck off. So that's something I'd struggle with. I'd also struggle with just cold approaching in general, like a complete stranger. Like let's say you meet a complete stranger at the beach or the shopping center, the mall. So yesterday it was a hot day and we're at the beach and I actually see like a pretty beautiful girl. Like I'm like, Alex, bro, I got to cold approach this chick. I got to do it. He's like, yeah, bro, go. I say, oh, yeah, soon. Just wait. Let me get ready. Let me make sure I'm looking good. Let me go in the water, wash this sand off, put some tanning oil on. And he looks to me, he's like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm preparing myself, just like how I prepared myself for this YouTube video, just like how I prepared myself for the gym. And he's like, the longer it takes, the less likely you are just gonna do it, right? Like the longer you wait, bro, the less likely you're gonna take action on it. And I'm like, you actually have a good point, because I've noticed the longer I wait, the more I start to overthink, the more I start to rehearse what I'm gonna say, so it just makes me less authentic and more of my inauthentic self. And the more my anxiety just spikes, bro. Can't make this mistake, can't misstep, can't pronounce the wrong. I overthink. So this leads to the first lesson of today's random video at my beach house, is that you have to apply the 3-second rule. If you see a girl that you're attracted to, count to 3 seconds. Or count down from 3. And that's all the time you have. That's all the time you have. If you take any longer than that, you're probably not going to do it. So I'm at the beach. Alex is like, bro, I'm going to count to 3. And by the time I hit 0, you have to walk. You have to command your legs, take a big breath and just walk in her direction. Don't worry about what you're going to say. It will just come into your head. And he puts me on the spot. And I'm not going to lie, having like a friend to put you on the spot in like these situations, it helps you so much. When you comparing this to like when you're by yourself, let's say you're just shopping by yourself, you're a lot less likely to do a cold approach, because it takes more discipline to force yourself and no one's there to push you. Again, same thing with gym. You probably train harder when you're with someone in the gym. So I'm at the beach with him and he forces me. He counts down from 3. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go. I walk. And this leads to lesson number 2. While I'm walking, I'm not thinking or rehearsing what I'm saying. I'm focusing on my breathing. I've spoken about how important deep breathing is and how it can make you a whole lot more present. And I'd hear YouTubers speak about this, but I'd always thought it meant like focus on your breathing, do meditate. And I always thought it was just a waste of time. But then I actually implemented it, just taking deep breaths, like 6 seconds inhaling. And like 3 seconds exhaling. And I did this while I was walking up to this girl, and bro, you become like so much more present and focused. It's actually ridiculous. If you feel like you have any anxiety and you want to combat this, 3-second rule, deep breath, and you're already better than like 80% of guys who try to cold approach, which like we already know most people never cold approach. I saw a statistic, I saw in a TikTok. I'm pretty sure like 55% of men don't cold approach a girl from like 16 to 22 years old. So you're already in like the top 50% from giving yourself the 3-second rule, counting down 1, 2, 3, and taking a big, full masculine breath, almost like breathing like a king. So I did this, and as soon as I took this big breath, presence increased by like 10x. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was still a bit nervous. Obviously, you're still gonna be nervous when you go up to a complete stranger. I'm not on that level of having like 0 nerves, but the nerves decrease like pretty substantially. So I'm walking to her. Now you're probably thinking, what do you do? How do you get her attention? What if she's not looking at you? What if she is looking at you? Most girls can subconsciously feel, tell, or just know when a guy's going up to them. And I used to ask this very same question, like, how do I get her attention? Well, first, actually walk to her. We passed that lesson, do that. So you've got that part down. You're walking up to her, you're approaching her, you've 3-second ruled, you've took a big breath. But now you start getting closer. What do? There's 2 things. Well, there's 2 ways you can go about this. The first way is you walk into her, she looks at you, and you completely avoid her eye contact. Like you don't look her back in the eyes, but then you still try to say something afterwards, and it's just shit. The other version of you, when she looks at you, gives you eye contact, that should give you that should literally give you all the data you need to just say to yourself, she's interested. She wants me. Especially if she holds the eye contact with you. If you give her eye contact back and she holds it, and then if you beat her in this little challenge and she looks away, green flag, all the data you need. The nerves, like you should be feeling a lot more confident about yourself now, because the fact that she just looked away shows that you're more dominant than her, and that sparks something. That's attraction, right? I wish I knew this, because I would never hold eye contact with girls, let alone my friends. But when I could start challenging myself to even just like walking in the shopping center, not cold approach, but even just trying to walk past someone and try beat him in a fucking staring contest and try make him look away first. That almost gave me like a 5% dominance boost, confident, whatever you want to call it. But it's like those small wins. It doesn't have to be with girls. It can be with fucking guys, bro. Like a 16-year-old, just look him in the eye and make him look away. As like creepy as whatever it sounds, this will give you more confidence and it'll make you start to feel more dominant. You start doing it with strangers and you start doing it with girls. Now you have this education of, I cold approached this girl, and when I was walking up to her, I had eye contact with her and she looked away first. Now what? Brother, that's all you need. Now it's just a matter. I'm not going to give you a full script of what to say, because you could say, I used to watch YouTube videos saying, say this, say this, say. I can give you a script. I can tell you what I say, but then you're going to say it and it's going to come across as inauthentic. You're probably going to fucking stutter, have a voice crack. So I'm not going to tell you what to say, because you can use my line and be like, you found that in Adrian's YouTube video, and you're going to ruin it. And it's just, you're going to practice rehearsing it. You're not your most authentic self. And we all understand with attraction, you want to be your most authentic self. So I'm not going to tell you what to say, but what I'm going to tell you what to do is, you've probably heard this advice before, but this is just like the boring, not even boring. This is just the most basic advice, which I think you'll be a whole lot more likely to take action on. You say whatever is on your mind. No matter how spontaneous, how bad, how whatever you think it is, whatever you're thinking about her appearance, about what she's doing, if you need advice on something, whatever you say, that is it. And this is something which I would hear. I'd watch videos that would say this exact same lesson, and I'd cope and I'd be like, nah, I can't say whatever's on my mind. What if she gets offended? What if she gets upset? What if she gets mad? What if she thinks I'm insecure? I think all these things. But it doesn't necessarily matter what you make her feel. You'd rather make her feel something, whether it be jealousy, anger, sadness, respect, love, whatever. You'd rather make her feel something than nothing. Because I would always cold approach girls and I'd make them feel nothing because I'd speak to them logically, which I touched on at the start of the video. I'd speak to them like they were my guy friend because I was too scared to say something which I thought could have like potentially offend them. Say whatever's on your mind. If you're at the beach and she's maybe reading a book, oh, what book are you reading? Bang. Conversation. Oh, I really like that bracelet. Whatever's on your mind, you should probably say. Because always trust your gut. Your gut probably knows a lot more than what your brain, that your overthinking, anxious brain does. And this is something I wish I got taught like years ago, because this would save me from a lifetime of mistakes. Say whatever's on your mind. And then what do you do then if you feel like you're running out of words, or maybe you got to go, or how do you end things the right way? You can try focus on getting an Instagram so you can then shoot a text about whatever conversation you had. But another mistake I used to make is I used to always be too concerned with the outcome. I used to be so obsessed with just getting the Instagram. So I'd walk up to girls and the first thing I'd ask them is, hey, I think you're beautiful. So I give them a compliment. I say what's on my mind. But then I'd go straight to the outcome and be like, what's your Instagram? And I heard this advice off Tate, and at first, like my teenage self would hear this and I'm like, oh, that's so good. Say they're beautiful and then get the Instagram. I'd hear this, makes sense. But like, you got to think from the girl's perspective. Then she's kind of looking at you like, this motherfucker's probably done this to like 20, 30 guys and he's just treating me as like a tick the box, like a checklist. Like, oh, this is his 30th Instagram he's got today. So she still might give you Instagram, but there's no connection. You didn't really spike any emotions other than like calling her beautiful, which is, yeah, it's a compliment, but it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so just on the surface. You're not trying to go deeper and you're not trying to be more vulnerable. You're not trying to take more risks. And we all understand to make more progress, you got to take more risks. Same thing with life, same thing with girls, same thing with whatever. Dig beneath the surface. Don't stress too much about just getting the IG so you can just text him later like a little fucking nerd and be inauthentic on text. Like, bro, come on. It's something I still struggle with. I'm so like goal oriented and I want to tick boxes, and I do get, when I get a girl's Instagram, I get like validation, like, yes, I did it. But now this was literally me like a month ago. Like I'd be out at the club or some shit and I'd cold approach girls and I'd just be so worried. Not even worried, like, it's not that I feared talking to him. It's that I feared being emotional with them and digging deeper below the surface. So, like I said, getting Instagram's cool. Maybe if she's physically attracted to you, she might give you some attention, but it's really just bland and you don't get many results, and it's just less fulfilling. You don't really develop a relationship. You almost just treat it like a number. You've had the conversation, you've spoke about whatever's on your mind, you actually had a pretty good conversation about whatever you were talking about. It's kind of coming to an end. What do you do at the end? Okay, then you can kind of ask for the Instagram if you've had that deep emotional conversation. Another thing which I'm still struggling to do because it feels like I have this like limiting belief that I can't do it, but you actually can. Another thing is you want to try and make plans, like, yes, IRL plans the same day. So let's say you sit at the beach, you have a 10-minute conversation, it goes really well, you've spiked some emotions, you've given good eye contact, Maybe you've even done some like slight physical touch, like when you've laughed, you maybe, yeah, whatever. There's been some sort of polarity and attraction. What you want to do is you want to try make plans ASAP or like later in the night, because this is when shit's at its peak. The attraction's at its highest, and you want to take action on something when it's popping off, right? You don't want to wait like a week because then it's kind of dead. Maybe she's already talking to another like 5 guys now. Whenever I'm talking to girls, it's like my brain forgets this and just always thinks that this isn't an option because it just thinks it's considered creepy or too needy. But you seriously have to think. Your brain's coping because one, you're probably saying, oh, but she's probably busy later. Most girls aren't busy. She's probably just going to go home and scroll. Have you seen a girl's screen time on their phone? It's like 12 hours. If you have a good conversation with the girl, believe it or not, she's subconsciously expecting you to take it to the next level and make plans. Maybe not every girl, but if you can have this belief, this mindset, and feel this energy, it's gonna become a reality, and you're gonna erase this limiting belief you have, okay? And like, let's be honest, girls want to have fun. They love being social. And if you've just had like a quality conversation and she actually wants to get to know more of you, that's another opportunity to do so. And now you're probably thinking, oh, but what if she rejects me? If she's not interested, that gives you the information you need to then move on to the next chick and not worry about her anymore. So many of us fear rejection, and I still do, we all do. But you have to realize, you'd rather feel being rejected than having any regret of not saying what you could have said. Imagine the version of you who didn't try make plans and maybe had a decent conversation. You got her Instagram, but then she never followed you back, or you never DM'd her. Compared to the version of you who then who's speaking to her and says, hey, oh, what are you doing later? Let's try get coffee later. And you get an answer. Now you know. You got the answer you wanted, so there's no reason to stress. If you got rejected, okay, cool, that's fine. There's literally another fucking 5 billion women on planet Earth. Who cares? Whatever. Next one. It's a number. As a guy, it's a numbers game. That's the mindset you gotta have. Next one. Keep digging beneath the surface and try make plans as soon as you can, because that's when you will have some of the best dates. That's when you'll develop some of the most fulfilling connections, and you're going to be like your most happiest self. I know this video has probably motivated you. I know this video has probably educated you. And I know this video is making you feel like you're going to take action. Like you're going to do it. Tomorrow when you're at the shopping center or you're at the gym, you're going to call up a girl because you've watched all of these lessons I've taught you. You're most likely not going to take action for the next 6 months, because you're watching this video, and younger Adrian would also watch these videos, like a lot similar to this, and he'd feel the exact emotions you're probably feeling now, like motivated, excited, ready to take action and just talk to every 10 out of 10 chick on the planet. But then when the opportunity was to arise, I would just go into, my monkey brain would take over again. I'd forget everything. So, how can you be more likely to take action on everything which I've taught you in this video? First, I want you to get a whiteboard like I have right here. I want you to write down or rewatch this video if you have the time. Rewatch this video and take note of the lessons I taught you. Not on your phone app. Write them down either on a whiteboard or on a note, a piece of paper, whatever. Write them down and put them on your bro, stick them up on your room. Stick them up so you can see them every single day. Be aware of the protocol which I followed, which helps me, and which it's probably going to help you a lot. Lesson by lesson. When you do this, you're going to be a whole lot more likely to take action. Compared to the guy who watches these YouTube videos, gets the dopamine hit, learns a little bit, but then goes on to the next video and completely forgets everything he just watched. You're going to finish watching this video. You're probably just going to go back on TikTok and start scrolling and keep consuming. Which, it's all good to consume information, but bro, it comes to a point in time when it takes more bravery than the knowledge you have to get results. I remember I saw a quote. It was that life is 80% bravery and 20% knowledge. You can have all the knowledge in the world. Like, I'm not saying, bro, like, fucking, bro, read fucking books, educate yourself, cool, great, whatever. But bravery is when you're going to experience the most results. Having that, like, relentless mindset of just taking action ruthlessly. That's when you're going to level up. That's when you're going to progress. So please, take note of all the lessons in this video. Rewatch this video if you have to. And take it slow. Just maybe start on level 1 with just walking around in public and trying to beat people in fucking staring contests. Because that's going to boost your dominance trait by like 5-10% the more you just start to do it. And then just start, you're going to make mistakes, but another mindset which really helped me, just start trying to work this in volume. So ruthlessly failing is what's going to happen. Like, you're going to speak to chicks and it's going to be bad. But what if I was to tell you you're only 10 failed cold approaches away from hitting that one successful cold approach, and you meet the girl you're like super compatible with and you relate so much? What if I told you you're 10 fails away? Now you're probably feeling, fuck, I'm gonna get on myself. I just want to fucking purposely fail now and make a fool of myself because I know by the 10th fail, I'm gonna attract my fucking feminine, gorgeous wife, bro. That's a really good mindset, and that's a mindset which really helped me. Anyways, I gotta go now. I hope this video motivated or educated you. I'm currently doing one-on-one coaching mentorship. It'll be the first link in the description. I'm also starting a private Discord self-improvement community group, which it's in the works. So if you're interested in that and you want like private access, hit my Instagram link and just shoot me a DM. I'll add you in it as soon as possible. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.